Well, happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. And welcome to the Women's Leadership Forum, our live on the first Friday of July. Wow. You know what? Listen, I am so excited to be here. I am Kisha Hicks. I am the president and founder of the Elevate Her, as well as an HR executive here in the Nashville area where I live. I am so happy to be a part of the Women's Leadership Forum and for Colette Coakley giving me the opportunity to be here in front of you every first Friday of the month to talk about what? How to be your own she shed. So before we get there though, if you don't mind, do me a favor, click, tag, share, get some folks in the room with us, get some folks in the conversation with us tonight, because I'm going to be sharing some really deep stuff, y'all, when it comes to all things self-care. But before we get started, let me tell you a little bit more about the forum, who we are, what we intend to do, why we exist. The forum is all about helping women to march forward. That's what it is. Women of all walks of life, of all over the country, doing all kinds of things, career-wise, life-wise, right? We are about every woman, like the song. I'm not gonna sing it because I probably would like tear your eardrums up. But just know that we are for every woman, and we are here to help every woman elevate in all aspects of her life, in all aspects of her physical life, her mental life, her business life, all these different things. Each week, you can find us live here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, my time zone. And you can also find us live on YouTube. If you're not following us, make sure that you're following us. Stay connected. We have a wonderful newsletter that comes out. Definitely want you to get your hands on it so that you can be involved, because listen, there's so much coming up, y'all. There's so much coming up. And so I'm going to share some of those things with you in just a second, but you definitely want to make sure you can be connected to us. The way that you can find us is this little ticker running down here. You can find us on our website at WLF.org, or you can find us on Instagram, right? We're on YouTube, Twitter. Come on, man. You can find us everywhere, okay? So definitely make sure that you are staying connected, that you are getting connected, and that you are staying connected, and that you continue to pour into yourself by coming here. Now, before we get started, let me tell you about another little thing that's going on, another big thing, rather, that's going on right now. It starts actually on Saturday, July 10th, okay? On Saturday, July 10th, let me put this up here for y'all. There is going to be a virtual Founders Tea and Business Boot Camp. So let me tell you something. This right here, I'm so excited about. Listen, I'm not even gonna mess it up. I'm gonna get everything together for y'all right now, because I want you to understand what this is and who this is for, okay? So if you are a business, if you want to start a business, if you have an idea about a business, but you don't know where to begin, if you have started it, but you kind of I don't know how to prioritize this thing, definitely this is probably it for you. And if you've launched, but you're trying to figure out how to grow, come on into this boot camp, right? This boot camp is going to be fire, okay? You'll see how to register right here below at WLF.org. I promise you I'm going to say that right before it's over with. But there's going to be some awesome speakers. Again, our founder, Colette Coakley, is going to be there. You're going to have Lynette Dotson from Couples Tea House, Erica Roberts from X is Possible, Jamise Pickney from High Quest Consulting Solutions. So you're going to have some powerhouse women in that place, right? Virtually pouring into you, trying to help you to get your businesses on track. So definitely make sure that you get registered. All right. So with that being said, listen, let's move. Let's get into the topic at hand. If you have not already, make sure that you are tagging, that you are sharing, that you are, doing all the things so we can make sure that we get a lot of women in this space with us this evening. Okay. Now, and I'm going to actually start a watch party, because I like watch parties. I think watch parties are pretty cool. So you can also do that. So if you haven't taken an opportunity to start a watch party, make sure that you start a watch party. All right. So here we go. We are talking about all things self-care. So this is what I want you to do. Go with me here. Imagine that you are a woman who is able, okay, able is the word here, to take time every day, whether it be in the morning, whether it be in the afternoon, or whether it be in the evening, okay? But take time every day to spend some portion of that day, whether it be an hour, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 25 minutes in self-reflection, exercise, reading, or in some way setting yourself up for an amazing day or the next day. How do you think that just by doing those things, your day is going to unfold if you're that woman? You don't have to answer that now, but I want you to think about that. How do you think your day would unfold? Even if there were obstacles that came into play, how do you think that your day would unfold if you had the time to do those things, right? So I want you to think about it. That's kind of our jump off point for tonight. So that's our reflection question for tonight. So again, as you're coming in, make sure that you're clicking like, you're tagging, and you're sharing. Do me a favor and make sure that you are doing that, okay? Also, as you're coming in, because I'm from Nashville, definitely make sure that you are sharing your city and state with us here so we know who you are and where you're from. Say hello, throw some hearts on the screen. Let me know that you're here, all right? So when you attend to your own needs first, here's what happens. Naturally, you have this capacity, right, to give so much greater. All right. So then the question then becomes, if that's the truth, if that's the game, right? If it's about me taking care of myself and then I have all this capacity, then why on earth is it so hard for women to actually practice self-care? Okay. Why is self-care so hard for women? So as I was thinking about kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight, that's where I wanted to stay right there. Like, I'm going to break down some myths for you, 5 that are keeping you from leading your best life when it comes to self-care. So definitely be thinking about it. Why is this so hard? Why is self-care so hard, right? Here's the thing. We hear a lot about self-care right now. Self-care is everywhere. Right? It's all on social media. It's all on every TV show, every this, every that. We got self-care Saturday, self-care Sunday, me time, treat yourself. We got all these things, right? We know how important it is, right? But at the same time, we struggle with it as women. If you struggle with self-care as a woman, drop me in the comments and let me know who I'm talking to, because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna put me in there. Me, okay? I know that I personally struggle with self-care, right? And here's the thing, I had to think about it. And I thought, why is it that I struggle so much with self-care, right? As a woman, why do I struggle so much with self-care? Here's what I came up with, okay? First reason, number one reason. By nature, women are nurturers. Do you agree, right? We're always in the mindset of we taking care of other people first. That's our thing, right? And I had to think about it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's me. I'm a nurturer. I'm always in the habit of taking care of other people first. If that's been you, throw some hearts on the screen. Let me know that's you, that you're a nurturer, right? That's what we do, okay? And it doesn't matter, what it is, who it is, we're going to be there to take care of them. And it almost feels selfish if we stop to take care of ourselves because we're supposed to, or it's ingrained in our minds and in our hearts sometimes that we're supposed to take care of other people, right? So then there becomes this battle. And I had to think about it, this battle for me to find the time in my day, okay, between my kids and my husband and my business and my 9 to 5 and the dog and y'all get what I'm saying? It becomes so difficult. Yes, Tammy, thank you. It becomes so difficult to actually just be like, you know what, let me find time for me. Okay. But we know that in order to, again, show up for other people, you have to replenish your own reserves. Okay. Now here's another reason why I was thinking about stuff. Okay. I got that one. I'm a nurturer. So, somebody put that in the comments, nurturer. So nurturer is one reason why it's so difficult for women. Another reason why is, here's the thing, I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired most of the time. By the time I go through everything throughout the day, being pulled in a gazillion different directions, right? I'm exhausted, right? And burnout is real, and burnout will take over. So here's the thing. But at that point, every decision that I'm making is a decision based on my stress level. Okay. And based on frustration. So I'm really probably at that point not prioritizing, let me take a minute for myself. It's just let me help and get this out the way at that point. So maybe I can get somewhere and sit down, but really that's not what's going to happen because I'm just going to keep going. Okay. So that was another reason why I figured that it was sometimes difficult for me to actually take the time for myself. Another thing that I figured was like maybe one of those things that of why it was so hard for me for self-care was that I actually had to take the time to do it. That's simple, right? And of all the things that I gotta get done, I got all this stuff facing me tomorrow. I got stuff that's coming up next week. I got stuff that's coming up in 5 minutes. It's like, wait a minute. And then on top of that, I have to take some time for me. I don't have time for that, right? So what happens is that I keep beating myself up then if I take time for me, right? So if any of these things are ringing true for you, let me know in the comments which one is ringing true for you. Is it hard for you to practice some good self-care habits because you're a nurturer? Because you find that that you're too tired sometimes to do it? Or even that you might be just having to figure out how to actually plan it and take the time to do it, right? If any of those things ring true for you, definitely let me know, okay? So, but I will tell you this, if you don't plan for self-care, then you can't, you're going to fail at self-care if you're like me, right? You have to make a plan, even when you run out of steam, okay? You got to make a plan. So let's move this thing a little forward, okay? Because that's what we're doing in the Women's Leadership Forum. We move things forward. So let's move it a little forward. So I've always been the person that thought that self-care was a great idea. I mean, that's why I come on here first Friday of every month to talk with you all about self-care, right? And you know what? I'll have periods of times where I'll do really good, right? It's like I'm working out before I go like log in, or actually now I'm physically going back in the office. So I'm doing those things. Maybe even taking a walk when I'm like on a lunch break, if that really ever exists, right? Or it's some kind of stretching or something that I'm doing, right? I've always thought these were really good ideas. But here's the thing. I realized that, you know what? Everybody's not as lucky as me. Some people can't just take that time to actually do those things for themselves. But now that self-care is such a hot topic, there is a whole lot, y'all, of misinformation about what actually constitutes itself as self-care, okay? How to practice it and why it's important. It's a lot of misconceptions, okay? So many people, because of all the misconceptions, that pushes them to avoid it altogether anyway, okay? So let me ask you something. I'm gonna give you some misconceptions that I've heard when it comes to self-care. And if any of these ring true, let me know in the comments. Of course, the misconception is, and this is what I hear because of the misconception, I don't have time for that. I've heard people, I don't have time for that. I've heard people say, I'm just not into that frou-frou, woo-woo stuff, whatever frou-frou, woo-woo is. I don't know what that is. And then I've also heard that self-care isn't for me. I've heard that. Like, it's not for me. That's for somebody else, okay? So what I'm going to do now, if you will allow me to, and if you will come along with me, is I'm going to talk about those top 5 self-care myths that are right now, today, possibly keeping you from living your best life. So if that's okay with you, let me know in the comments that that's okay with you. And even if it's not, guess what? I'm gonna give them to you anyway. All right. So the number one myth that I hear quite frequently is self-care is only for a certain type of person. Okay. Self-care is only for a certain type of person, right? Couldn't be further from the truth, right? Self-care is for everyone, okay? No matter your age, your gender, your background, your career, your socioeconomic status, it is for everyone. Doesn't matter what your situation is, everyone should practice self-care, okay? Now, with that being said, let's kind of break down where that myth kind of comes from, because I think sometimes we have to understand where it comes from. If you go on any social media, let's pick on Instagram, because I got this love-hate relationship with Instagram. If you go on Instagram and you type in search and you search like hashtag self-care, you're going to see all these people that look a certain kind of way, and they're doing things like yoga, and and it'll give you this perception of who these people are, whoever these people are, that are actually practicing self-care. And then what happens is you look at those people on social media, and then you look at yourself and you say, wait a minute, that's not me. So this whole self-care notion can't be about me or for me. Okay. So I promise you that's not incorrect. That's totally incorrect. And I promise you that the way to change like stuff like that on social media is to start taking pictures of you doing self-care and put the tag on it, hashtag self-care. So here's the thing. That was your first challenge of the night. Okay, you're going to hear me say that maybe a couple times tonight, but that was your first challenge of the night. As you're doing your self-care, start taking pictures and posting it on your social media. Make sure you're cute when you do it. I know we want to be cute, but make sure when you do it, put the hashtag self-care, so that we can start to change this misconception of who this actual person looks like that does self-care, that practices self-care. Okay. Number two, the second self-care myth is all about self-care looks like bubble baths, face masks, yoga, manis, and petties. How many of y'all thought that, right? Now, here's the thing. Where do we get that from? Come on, social media, right? Social media does that to us again. A lot of the misconceptions that we have ultimately are coming from what we see in front of us, right? If you think about it, put it this way, I'm gonna tell you, and it's also, it's on purpose. It's on purpose that these things are pushed on social media. Because if you think about the beauty and the wellness industry, right? The beauty and the wellness industry right now has made billions upon billions of dollars on, guess what, y'all? Self-care, okay? And it's self-care products, right? So self-care products like skincare stuff, right? Fitness classes, fitness clothes, right? Like things that are the vitamins, all these things, certain types of waters, all these different things, right? All these industries have made billions and billions upon dollars, right? And here's the thing. I like a good bubble bath like the next lady, right? But that's not the way or the end-all be-all way to take care of me, okay? Self-care has absolutely nothing totally to do with bubble baths. Now, if you like a good bubble bath, take a bubble bath. That's your thing. But that's not what it is, right? Think about the people in your life. There are some people in your life that I was thinking about this earlier as I was kind of gathering my thoughts. We have a neighbor, and she, or he, I'm sorry, and she, there's two of them. They like to stay in their yards, right? One is always cutting his grass. That's his thing. Okay. Men do self-care too. Remember, it's for everybody. And there's another lady who's always like tending to her flower garden. Okay. That's her thing. That's her mode of self-care, right? So it doesn't look like a spa day or getting your nails done. It looks like what's enjoyable for her, okay? It's their outlet or their way to unwind, right? I have a coworker who every day on lunch takes a walk, literally gets up, takes a walk, then comes back and eats his lunch, right? And he's now trying to get everybody kind of around to do the same thing. That's his way to unwind, right? I have, there's a lady in our neighborhood who rides a bike, okay? And it's not like a professional bike, like a racing bike, but it's like a regular like bike with a basket on the front, that kind of bike. But that's her way to unwind. She don't ride fast, she just riding, okay? But that's her way to unwind. So maybe think about that. Some people like to, be all around animals, like to sit up with their animals, whatever it is, but that's their way. But guess what? You don't see those ways advertised. If you think about it on social media, you don't see those ways advertised, right? But make sure that you are practicing some of those ways. So some non-traditional ways, again, to practice things like getting some fresh air, right? Fresh air will do you like wonders sometimes. Sometimes you just need to go outside and get some fresh air. So that's your second challenge of the night. Okay. Your second challenge of the night is to figure out some time just to go outside and take in some fresh air. Now that could be sitting on your porch, that could be taking a hike, that could be, whatever it is, whatever you want to do, but take some time to go outside and just get a little bit of fresh air. Now I will tell you, down here in Nashville, it's hot as I don't know what outside. It's very sticky, very humid, but still find some time to go outside, okay? That's your challenge. So get some fresh air, all right? Get some fresh air. That's your second challenge of the night. So I hope y'all picking up on these. If you don't pick up on it now, go back to the replay, watch the replay, okay? And if you do catch this in the replay, make sure that you comment replay, all right? The third myth, okay, is that self-care takes a lot of time. Remember, we keep talking about, I don't have time for that. When am I supposed to make time for that, right? If you thought that, you're not alone, okay? So many people avoid taking care of themselves because they believe that they have to really find time in what is a completely busy schedule in order to do it, right? But here's the thing, you don't have to have some tried and true schedule of self-care, right? The thing is, though, you need to find some time, block some time for yourself, even if it's 5 minutes that you have to spare, which I'm gonna tell you, real talk, everybody has at least 5 minutes. Everybody. You can say, no, you don't, but guess what? You have 5 minutes. So that's your third challenge of the night. Your third challenge of the night is to take 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, one of those minutes, I want you just to breathe. Take some deep breaths, right? And so, and as you're taking those deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, count to 4, for real, bring your breathing down. I'm very fortunate because I have this nice little Apple Watch that reminds me to breathe, right? But definitely find 5 minutes. That's your other challenge for tonight. Find 5 minutes in your day. Everybody has 5, all right? Find the 5 minutes, take the time, at least one of those minutes to just breathe, okay? Now, here's the other thing that you can do in 5 minutes. You can declutter a space in 5 minutes. It is something about putting away stray papers, organizing cords, refilling water, whatever it is that you do, right? Declutter. Find a space. Take your desk. If you have a desk that's kind of unorganized, declutter it. Find a space in your closet. Declutter. It's something about that declutter process that is freeing, right? If you have 5 minutes, another thing you can do in 5 minutes is take that 5 minutes and read some pages in a book that you really enjoy. One book that I'm reading right now that I keep on my list is The Power of Focus, right? I love this book. It's a short little book that I can read, and I can take 5 minutes and read a couple, 3 pages a day, right? But whatever you do, just make sure that you're taking 5 minutes, okay? That's your next challenge, all right? Now, next self-care myth is that self-care is expensive and it has to be glamorized. Y'all see my face on that one? No, okay? Now, here's the thing. Is some self-care expensive? Yeah, if you're getting into going and getting massages, and if you're into these really expensive journals and certain types of bath bombs and, all this yoga classes, some of that stuff can be expensive. But it doesn't have to be glamorous like that. You don't have to break the bank to do self-care. Because I'm gonna tell you something, sometimes breaking the bank becomes a stressor for you. That's a whole nother Friday situation, right? But instead, think of some things that you can do that aren't so expensive, right? That don't take a lot of time. I do a lot of stuff that's completely free and that I often recommend to some of my clients when we're trying to figure out what do you need to do for self-care? Because even though I'm a career coach, I still talk to my clients about, even part of your professional health should be incorporating some type of self-care. So I know we spend money again, on all the health and wellness stuff, skincare companies, all that stuff, but you can use an old notebook and journal. Everybody has an old notebook. You've been probably given one at some conference or something. Everybody has an old notebook. Find it, journal in it, right? You can walk around your neighborhood. You don't have to have a gym membership. You can walk around your neighborhood, right? You can listen to free meditation on YouTube. YouTube has plenty of free meditations. And while you're on YouTube, make sure you're following us. I'm just saying. But make sure you can go on YouTube and you can do that, right? You can do things if you like to cook, Find the recipe on Pinterest and become this person on Pinterest that likes to cook. And I think that we have a board on Pinterest too. So make sure you're looking for that, right? So all in all, it's all about getting creative. Okay. So just remember, self-care is not creative. And here's another challenge to you for tonight. Oh, y'all like, where's she coming with all these challenges? Here's another challenge. The next challenge is to come back to this link or to this video and post what's an idea, or put it in the comments now. What's a cheap or inexpensive self-care thing that you do? Because maybe somebody needs an idea. All right. And then the last thing that I think is the biggest myth is that self-care is only about taking care of your body. Yes, yes, yes. Our physical health is important and should be a major part of your self-care. Hence, that's why I do things like drink water. Colette, drink your water if you're watching. Right? But it is important. Self-care is all about, a major part is about taking care of your body, but it's also about taking care of your mind. What are you feeding your mind? How are you decluttering your mind? How are you creating a space in your mind that allows you to be less anxious, that allows you to be creative, right? That allows you to be able to think the right thoughts about everything that's going on around you, right? Self-care is also about what's going on in your heart. Check your emotions, right? Sometimes what happens is we get overwhelmed. Women, we are emotional creatures. We can get very overwhelmed. So take the time and tend to your heart as well, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Take the time to tend to your finances. Self-care is not selfish, especially when it comes to your money. Like, again, catch us on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. There's folks in here talking about best practices when it comes to your money, right? Because I'm telling you, money will stress you out. Okay, so definitely take the time when it comes to your finances, right? That's a form of self-care, right? When it comes to your spiritual practices, whatever they may be, whether that's, religious or otherwise, take some time for that, right? Those are different things that you can do, right? When it comes to your careers have to have a level. You have to take care of yourself when it comes to your career. How are you growing, learning, professionally developing in your careers? All of these things are very, very important and should be incorporated in your self-care, okay? So last thing before we get up out of here is that self-care, I want y'all to remember this, self-care looks different too, okay? And it looks different at every age that you were in, okay? Because I think about myself, like I'm in my 40s now, okay? I think about what self-care looked like in my 20s and I'm like, ain't no way I could do that now. One, I don't have the energy. Two, I don't think that my body would allow me to do some of that stuff, right? And I'm thinking like I'm in a different place in my life, right? So what you do at each age group is going to be different. So I say that to say too, be careful when you're looking at people in social media, right? And you're like, oh, I should be able to do those things. Maybe not, but self-care is important at every age group. But keep in mind, again, the self-care routines that you have in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, they all evolve as our lives evolve. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that if I'm in my 40s that I can't, 40 is a new 20. No, it's not. 40 is just 40. Okay. But whatever was going on in my 20s, I don't have to compete with a 20-year-old. I'm going to do my own 40-year-old self-care. Right. And if it makes me feel good and it helps my stress level and it's helping me to be able to do all the things that I need to do in order to continue to be productive, then that's what I'm going to do. So make sure that you're finding the right self-care that you deserve. Let me say it again, that you're finding the right self-care that you deserve, because guess what? You do deserve it. Okay. You do deserve self-care. Self-care is a developed skill and a practice. That's why I come here every first Friday. Make sure you're coming back. Make sure you're bringing friends, all that stuff. It is a skill. It is one that you have to practice and be very intentional about, right? They say 21 days. So I gave y'all some challenges tonight, shared some information with you. I hope that it landed some kind of way. And I hope that you will really, really, really start to prioritize yourself. Don't fall into the myths, but definitely prioritize yourself so you can start living your best life, right? So you, again, can be that hashtag self-care on social media that everybody is looking at, all right? So with that, again, I thank you for tuning in with us this evening. If you're not following the Women's Leadership Forum, make sure that you are doing so. Again, you can find us here at the website Ticking Across, and also make sure that you come back live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central, and bring a friend. Bring a friend. And don't forget, you can find us on Instagram, here on Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, right? Find us and make sure that you're connecting, make sure that you get signed up and that you get on the newsletter, because there are so many great things happening, not only this year, but as we're moving forward into next year. So again, thank you, Colette, for the time to be here this evening. If you catch this in the replay, make sure you hit replay and definitely click, tag, like, and share. All right, you all, I'm Kisha Hicks, and I will see you on the first Friday in August. Take care, everyone.